Hello, everyone. Very good evening. I hope you guys are doing good. I welcome all the TMP students as well as StockEdge Club members and StockEdge Premium subscribers. Thank you so much for joining for this another Friday session. We have been doing this for many months now, and I believe this has been a great exercise from my team to empower you to give you the right knowledge on every weekend. First of all, let me start by saying that yes, it has been pretty tough, but people who have been part of our ecosystem knows that as an organization, we have been very, very conservative, very cautious about the market for a few months. We have been speaking very openly that exit is important, exit is important. So most of our followers, our users, our premium members have seen market going down badly, but I'm presuming that most of the people have not burned themselves in this fall because we were very, very clear in our communication that this is not a good market to participate. Souradeep is busy with something today, so he will not be able to join. Unfortunately, he's the guy who has been leading this particular capsule for many months. So unfortunately, he is not there today. But fortunately, I'm there. So I'm I'm going to try to take the session for coming 20 minutes, and we'll be joined by my very dear friend, amazing person, Abhijit Paul at 6:20. So this is going to be the agenda. As usual, I'm going to talk about market, kya chal raha hai, what is my view, how you should look at the market, and let's see where does it go. Um, Small clarification that I am not looking at the question panel because we typically don't answer questions in this webinar. It's more of a one way where I'm going to speak, you're going to listen to what I'm saying, and Abhijit is going to speak and the same. If Abhijit has something to take from you, he will definitely look at the question panel, but I'm not able to look at the question panel, so pardon me. Some people have joined now. We are 200 members who have joined. So let me welcome all of you for this Friday evening session. Thank you for being part of the StockEdge family, my TMP members, StockEdge Club members, and StockEdge Premium members. I'm sure you're finding value in this entire exercise. Chaliye, so let me do a screen sharing. Switch off my webcam. Screen sharing kar lete hain, and let's talk about the market. And people who have been with me for many months, they would remember this line, right? And while we were conducting these sessions, the line was made here, and when there was a breakout here from 95 levels, there was clearly a signal from the market that there is something terribly wrong. And you see, since dollar has given this breakout and it has maintained this strength, market has gone down. Okay, so if you are still holding on to the stocks, that's not market's mistake. That's your mistake. If you have not made money by going short in the market, that's again an opportunity loss for you because market has given opportunity to both traders, for bull guys as well as the bear guys, to make money from the market. Having said that, always remember, market is here, we all are here. जो हो गया सो हो गया, जो होने वाला उसके बारे में बात करते हैं. And let's talk about things which can happen in the market. But quickly, let's take a global perspective of what is happening globally across multiple assets. So first thing first, let me talk about the emerging market index. So this is emerging market index. What is it? Emerging market index is that you see the emerging markets, and an index is there, MSCI index, which basically represents the emerging market basket. So globally, markets are down. Okay, India actually is still an outperformer. But if you talk about emerging markets globally, emerging markets are down. तो हम लोग काफी टाइम तक खड़े रहे थे कि हम शायद आउट परफॉर्म कर जाए मार्केट को, बट हम नहीं कर पाए. इनफैक्ट लेट मी डू समथिंग. हमारा आउट परफॉर्मेंस को एक बार मैं ऐड करता हूं. सो लेट मी ऐड अ सिंबल. This will be very interesting exercise. I have not done that earlier. So add symbol. Let me divide Nifty divided by EM. Okay, so let's click. Okay, Cool. So this is basically Nifty divided by emerging market index. Look at the outperformance of Nifty. So हम लोग काफी strong market थे. Globally markets गिर रहे थे, emerging markets, but we were still standing tall because our demography is so strong. Lot of things, policy decisions which was taken by the current government was extremely good. So as an outperformance, I think we will continue to be an outperforming market vis-a-vis the other markets. Let me also talk about Nifty in dollar terms. So what I have done is I have divided Nifty with US dollar and try to find out that अगर मैं rupee का impact Nifty से हटा लेता हूं तो what is the status. So that is also suggesting that market is very bad. In fact, in dollar terms, market is right around these levels, which is April level. So if you look at Nifty standalone, अगर हम निफ्टी को स्टैंडअलोन देखते हैं, so let's see Nifty standalone. Where is Nifty? This is Bank Nifty, so let me add Nifty here. So this is Nifty standalone. So if you look at Nifty standalone, it is already trading below 2021 levels. मतलब 12 महीने के नीचे ट्रेड कर रहा है, 52 वीकली के नीचे, which is a bad thing, right? But if you look at Nifty by US dollar, that means rupee in dollar, Nifty in dollar terms, it is still not trading below last 1 year levels. Okay, तो यहाँ पर अभी भी स्कोप है कि निफ्टी इन डॉलर टर्म्स शायद यहाँ पे सपोर्ट ले ले, शायद की बात है. ओके, look at bank nifty. So the structure nifty से थोड़ा better है. Bank nifty although has not performed recently, but last 1 year के अंदर में bank nifty has been vis-a-vis nifty has been decently outperformer. तो इसका मतलब क्या है कि मार्केट अगर रिकवर करेगा तो most likely this whole recovery will be led by bank nifty. So anyone who is interested in playing recovery in the market, Bank Nifty is a very good choice. In fact, मैं तो suggest करूंगा, अगर कोई SIP कर रहा है ETF में, निफ्टी का ETF में SIP मत करो, बैंक निफ्टी का SIP करो, because बैंक निफ्टी is going to be very interesting. In fact, if you see today's face to face, so you can go to Elearnmarkets YouTube channel, and today's face to face I made it live with an expert who has understood banking sector quite closely. So go and see that face to face today. He has tried Aditya has tried to give us a perspective about the changes which is happening in banking sector and why he believes that banking and NBFC can be a massive outperformer in coming few months. तो ये हमारा चार्ट से भी ये बात आ रही है कि from a stock price perspective also banking and NBFC looks like a better bet if you want to bet on Nifty right now. Okay. Now let us go back to other charts. So this is S&P, extremely bad structure. अगर डॉलर यहाँ से और स्ट्रांग हुआ तो इसकी और पिटाई पड़ने वाली है. तो it's very scary. Overall global markets, Nasdaq वगैरह तो काफी scary level पे है. तो I hope US recession में नहीं चला जाए, because market का जो अभी का reaction है, it is extremely recessionary. After many days, 21 period moving average is trading below 55 moving average in Nasdaq and also in S&P. तो US मार्केट की तो बहुत हालत खराब है. अगर हो रिकवरी कुछ भी आया तो मुझे लगता है निफ्टी will have some recovery, otherwise equity market overall is looking very bad. ठीक है, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. तो डॉलर इंडेक्स, फॉर्चुनेटली डॉलर इंडेक्स जो है 105 के नीचे चल रहा है. So it made a high here, which is 106 के आसपास. Now it is trading, but still dollar index is strong. Let's see what happens to dollar index. And JPY. Why JPY is important for us to track? Because ultimately अगर जब भी risk off situation आती है तो yen के अंदर में पैसा जाता है और yen is very strong right now. So let's see what happens. Gold. I strongly believe, मुझे बहुत strong conviction आ रहा है कि gold यहाँ से तेज होना चाहिए. अगर दुनिया में प्रॉब्लम है, if there is trouble happening in the world, gold as a currency should also outperform. Gold as a commodity should also outperform. I think gold is is creating a base for itself here. So it's not a bad idea to start ETF in gold. So अगर आप stockage में जाएंगे तो you'll be able to locate some good ETFs on gold side. So let's go to mutual fund schemes. Sorry, let's go to classes, other gold, and let's look at the fund जिसमें सबसे ज़्यादा AUM है. So Nippon. Let's look at the expense ratio 0.83. No, not interested. ICICI Prudential expense ratio is 0.55. This is interesting. So I can look at this SDFC ETF expense ratio 0.59. So ICICI का जो gold ETF है, I would suggest SIP in gold ETF will be a very good choice because इसमें मेरे को लग रहा है कि gold यहाँ से strong हो सकता है. So Bank Nifty ETF and gold ETF can be a good SIP candidate. Let us see Bank Nifty ETF. Bank Nifty ETF को एक बार study करते हैं कौन सा ETF में डाल सकते हैं. So this is index Bank Nifty. Just give me a minute. So Bank Nifty. Okay, let us search for it. Bank Nifty. So looks like there is no ETF with Bank Nifty. So maybe what we can do is we can look at sector specific. So banking and financial services. Okay, let's go AUM wise, scheme wise. So ICICI Prudential Banking and Financial Services Fund, their expense ratio is 1.93%, which is very high. But if you put direct plan, your expense ratio will be lesser. SBI Banking and Financial Services expense ratio 1.94. So basically, if you don't invest in Bank Nifty ETF, if you invest in one of these funds, then your expense ratio is high. So you can invest in direct scheme, but then expense ratio will still be higher than the Bank Nifty ETF. Let me search Bank Nifty ETF. Is there any Bank Nifty ETF? Oh yeah, this is their Bank Nifty ETF. SBI Bank Nifty ETF is there. Yeah. So let's search for it. SBI Nifty Bank. So let's go to AMC, SBI equity. Sorry guys, I'm taking some time because I'm also seeing this for the first time, but I mean, you can have a search later. SBI का Bank Nifty ETF is something which you can look at. इसका expense ratio भी I'm believing कि reasonable होना चाहिए. So you can think about investing there. Okay, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं फटाफट. This is copper. This is crude oil. This is cotton. So overall commodities के अंदर में there has been some corrections because government across the board they want inflations to come down and they are trying to push metal prices, commodity prices lower. But the only commodity which is behaving as a spoil sport is Brent crude oil, and Brent crude oil is up because of Russia Ukraine. तो अगर ये कम होगा ना तभी कुछ होगा. अगर ये ऊपर चलता रहेगा ना तो ये मार्केट जो है बहुत डिफिकल्ट है मार्केट का कन्विंसिंग रिकवरी होना. सो कीप ट्रैक ऑफ रशिया यूक्रेन इवेंट, कीप ट्रैक ऑफ चाइना ओपनिंग, कीप ट्रैक ऑफ क्रूड ऑयल विच विल टेक केयर ऑफ ऑल दीज थिंग्स. अगर क्रूड यहाँ से क्रैश करने का मोमेंटम बनाएगा देन आई थिंक मार्केट्स विल रिकवर वेरी कन्विंसिंगली. ओके, यूएस यील्ड का क्या हालचाल है? तो यूएस का 10 ईयर यील्ड ऊपर जाके नीचे आ गया. 2 ईयर यील्ड अभी भी ऊपर जाके हल्का सा करेक्शन आया. तो मुझे लग रहा है थोड़ा सा मार्केट के अंदर में देयर इज अ टेस्ट ऑफ करेक्शन इन बिकॉज इन्फ्लेशन को कंट्रोल करने के देयर आर वेरियस स्टेटमेंट्स व्हिच इज कमिंग फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट इन यूएस that they want to control inflation now. They're taking actions. So if you look at US inflation news, in fact you can put it as a news alert. So this is this is what they are saying. US target inflation with biggest rate hike in this. So even in the statement, US mentioned that there are two reasons why inflation is up. One is the Russia issue and the other is the China thing. So inflation has become a concern. So अगर वो कम होता है, interest rates कम होते हैं, then market will recover. So broadly हमको दो चीजें देखना है, यूएस का यील्ड कर्व देखना है, बिकॉज ये यील्ड कर्व इन्फ्लेशन का हमको स्टेटस बताएगा, एंड क्रूड ऑयल को देखना है. अगर ये हम दो को देख लें तो मार्केट का नेक्स्ट कोर्स ऑफ एक्शन हमको पता लग जाएगा. ऑलराइट, लेट्स मूव अहेड. सेकेंड पॉइंट आई वांट टू डिस्कस विथ यू दिस आल्सो, बिकॉज ये मैंने ज्यादा लोगों से बात नहीं की है, बट आई वांट टू शो यू दिस टेम्पलेट. तो मैंने एक ये टेम्पलेट बना रखा है. दिस इज अ 15-minute चार्ट ऑफ निफ्टी with 21 period and 55 period moving average and super trend, bank nifty, mid cap and small cap. I try to judge the intensity of the market, the breadth of the market through this chart. और मैं सिर्फ एक काम करता हूं कि अगर ये चारों में सेल है तो मैं बेच के मार्केट में काम कर रहा हूं, और अगर चारों में से कोई भी बाई दिखा रहा है तो मैं वेट एंड वॉच करता हूं. सो फॉर मी टू बी एन एक्टिव मार्केट पार्टिसिपेंट, आई एम लुकिंग एट whether the super trend is negative, moving average is also suggesting sell, and RSI is also trading below 50, then I'm selling. And if RSI is above 50 and moving averages is showing crossover and super trend is positive in all four, then I am into the buying mode in the market. So it was a great market to sell here. Obviously tried to buy. I tried to buy here, but then there was a stop loss which got hit, and then there was a sell signal available here. So क्या होता है, 10 में से आपको 4-5 अच्छे ट्रेंडिंग ट्रेड्स मिल जाते हैं, which gives you a lot of money, and 5 trades will be trades with small stop losses. So for people who are tracking market intraday, this can be a nice template for you to track the overall strength of the market. Apart from that, you know that I use this market breadth meter. Market breadth meter is basically this. ये क्या बताता है कि कितने स्टॉक्स हैं जो अपने 20 पीरियड मूविंग एवरेज 50, 100, 200 के नीचे चल रहे हैं, and how many stocks are there which are trading above these moving averages. So whenever market has seen very poor breadth, for example this 12 मई को 15,800 का मार्केट हुआ था, and look at the breadth market showed, and there was a recovery from these levels. तो यहां पर भी मार्केट में अब बहुत पुअर ब्रेड आ रहा है. इनफैक्ट आज हो सकता है कि थोड़ा रिकवरी दिखाए, एंड हो सकता है कि नहीं भी दिखाए, तो आज का डेटा देखना पड़ेगा. So if a recovery happens from here, if the breadths improve, and even the all the four indices shows super trend positive in 15 minutes chart, I will be long in the market, but that will be for a very short period, because overall market के अंदर में अभी भी it's a convincing sell on buy market. अभी भी मैं convinced नहीं हूँ market में buying के लिए, because I feel still market has room to go down if dollar keeps on going up, if inflation goes up, because crude oil goes up, right? So this is what I want to talk. Apart from that, you know, I also wanted to talk to you about the new things which we have released, and I have taken a YouTube session on that. So if you have not seen that YouTube session, please go to the YouTube session of just go to my channel, and I have explained you the new features which we released in session 8.1. I created a combination scan to help you understand how you can create your own combination scan. Lot of people ask me this कि sir combination कैसे करें, आप वीडियो बना के दीजिए. Look at this video the session which I took last Wednesday. ये देख लीजिए 8.1 में हम लोगों ने क्या क्या नया किया है, on what you can use for your better market participation. All right, so this is it from my side, guys. Thank you so much for giving me your patience hearing. Feel free to connect with me, TMP students. I'm there on WhatsApp. StockEdge club members, I'm there on social.stockers.com. Anytime, just buzz me and expect a reply from me. And also, in case you are not part of StockEdge club, I would request everyone to become part of StockEdge club. Our beloved friend Abhijit is also there, and many more people are becoming part of this amazing community. So become part of StockEdge club today and enjoy this advantage of real-time learning and real-time earning with us. To know more about it, stockageclub.com is the website you should track. All right, thank you so much. Now let me just check. Abhijit, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Hello, Dada. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Good evening, everyone. Um, I'm sure you can hear me clearly, and I've already shared my screen. I'm showing you a double screen over here. On my left-hand side, I'm using the weekly time frame. On the right-hand side, the daily time frame. The markets are such that it makes sense now to discuss more from the perspective of slightly, excuse me, medium to long term, rather than try to pick up the short term, because in the short term, the volatility, the choppiness is such that the chance and probability of us getting whipsawed or stopped out is really high. So let's take a look at the markets. Let's try and understand some levels. I'll try and take your questions if you have any. So let's get started. Number one, of course, the Nifty. Now, over here, I would like to focus a little bit of more on the Nifty's weekly time frame. Let me blow it out for you. And what I have done here is my point of concern is this bounce back, this mega bounce back that we had from the 23rd of March 2020 till the all-time highs. The markets are essentially going through a correction of this bounce back, this big move. And this big move, if I'm not mistaken, was in the tune of around 150%. Let's quickly do an info line. This will give us an understanding. And as you can see, 145% gain on a low to high basis in 82 weeks, little less than 2 years, 1.5 years. We had a nice 145% gain. In terms of levels, the index gained from 7.5% to 18.5%. So I'll congratulate you if you were part of this rally. I'll congratulate you if you have experienced this one-way market. And if you have entered the market during the lockdown period and you're relatively new to the stock market, I welcome you. And I also welcome you with the recent volatility, which you will find very, very confusing, the kind of markets. So one thing is clear, आपको एक चीज clearly दिखेगा visually. You don't need any technical aspects for this to understand. The nature of the market from here to here, let's say, and the nature of the market now is very, very different. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me that the nature of the market that we had before and the nature of the market that we're dealing with is different? We can get into the debate, we can get into the research that what made this difference? What is it different now? And we can come out with multiple such pointers. Very importantly, crude, which is leading to what? Inflation, not only in our country, but everywhere. I think US inflation is at a 40-year high. US yield curve, the dollar, the US yield curve is on the verge of a reversion yet again. These are all important medium to long-term macroeconomic parameters, which leads to a bit of, not bit of, which leads to recession. And I think US markets definitely are knocking at the doors of recession. And any correction to the tune of 20% to all-time highs should be considered as a recession. Not a quick sell-off, but a staggered sell-off. Now, let me bring your attention to the current correction. The current correction from an all-time high to this week's low, if you take a look at it, is around 18% in 34 weekly bars. We're dealing with weekly chart, mind you. So 34 weekly bars, so more than half of the year is gone, and you're down 18%. In terms of percentages, it's getting a little uncomfortable. Bull market corrections generally 10-12%. Generally, bull market corrections do not last for 34 weeks. So what the index is doing, what the markets overall is doing is it's a staggered correction. I say a staggered correction because if you take a look at the bounce backs, bounce back number one, bounce back number two, bounce back number three. So we have some serious, well-sized bounce backs. See, a downtrending market falls, shallow bounce back, falls, maybe a shallow bounce back and falls. Bounce backs are not very, steep. And during this time of the market, during around this time when I saw this kind of bounce back or this kind of bounce back, I was quite surprised and I was quite encouraged also by the size of the bounce back. It seemed like the markets do not want to fall. So what it has done, it has fallen, not much in terms of percentage, but well in terms of time. So the time correction over here is quite a bit, time correction. I think in my last evening's video, I had taken a look at this. However, I'm quite sure it will be drawn here. Yes, it's still there. If you want to get a perspective of what I mean, take a look at the previous big run up from the market before the coronavirus correction. Do you see the correction in 12%, 10%, 14%, 12%? That is this correction, this one, and this one. So in terms of percentages, what do you see? On an average, 10, 11%. But what is important to notice is 16 weeks, 7 weeks, 7 weeks, and 11 weeks. In terms of time, they're not like 20 weeks or 34 weeks. What am I coming to? The point that I'm coming to over here is the correction is getting quite matured in terms of time and not in terms of price. The million-dollar question is the breakdown that we experienced yesterday, or should I say the breakdown that we are dealing with this week. This week, we're down 5.5%. This month, we're down 7.5%. And YTD this calendar year, we're down 12%. It is important. It is important YTD, we correct a little bit. You had a phenomenal rally, one-way rally. You were pampered by the long uptrend that everything you bought out of own talent or just sheer luck, it gave us returns. Now this is the law of average catching up with us. This is completely all right. We should not get troubled by this unless you have just entered the market right. Let's talk about levels. So I'm not too disturbed by the correction. I've had enough of experience in 2008-9. I had seen that. After that, the dragged recovery and all the way it dragged towards 2014, 15 till it actually picked up some real trend. So reasons of correction will always be there. The reasons of correction that we are dealing with now, the big reason is primarily macroeconomic. It's not like the world has been hit with a virus and all of a sudden quantitative easing comes in. It's like a steroid. It's like a shot in the arm. The equity market since 2008 correction has got used to these kind of easing, pampering by central banks. That when it gets little out of hand, give it a nice easing. Will it come this time? I don't know. But definitely not anytime soon, because as of now, it's very clear that inflation pressure will stay. Rate of interest rise is very likely to stay on the upside, and the markets are adjusting to it. Markets are forward looking. So markets will try to bounce back. Levels. ये जो last week का correction, the correction that we're dealing with right now, it's come close to a decent confluence of Fibonacci numbers for me. I have a congestion here. My past volume profile suggests that pretty decent volumes had taken place in this zone. And what is this zone? It's around 14,400 to 15,100. So मोटा मोटा आप 14,000 से 15,000 ये जो रेंज है, ये जो रेंज है यहाँ पे, इसके आसपास the index may try to bottom out, because when it enters this zone, more or less, it will be down around 20% on an average by around close to 37, 40 weeks. So this is a pretty healthy zone for some kind of a base formation, unless something nasty happens, unless something, all of a sudden something comes out of the bag which we cannot foresee, like a black swan event. Agar wo sab nahi hota hai, then more or less it should, and it's a decent zone to create some kind of a base. Any kind of a bounce back from the current price, or if it comes down and then bounce back, any kind of such bounce back needs to deal with 15,900, 16K. 16K is going to be very crucial on the upside. Very crucial. 16K technically has a lot of importance price wise. So अब नीचे में 15,000 से 14,000 तक, I know 1,000 point Nifty is a big deal, but the fall is also big. So वो अपना वक्त ले सकता है. It will take its time. It may take its time. दो किस्म के recoveries होते हैं. V recovery, markets fall and markets recover. V recovery जो आपको March 2020 में दिखा था. Another type of recovery is that we see the market falls and it base formation करता है, time pass करता है, then it bounces back. Considering the last recovery was a V recovery, और इसका कारण और इसका कारण अलग है of the fall. This had a shot in the arm, quantitatively. Whether it will get a shot in the arm this time or not, I don't know. But मुझे लगता है that it's going to take some time. ये वक्त लेगा, ये डिस्काउंट करेगा कि किस हद तक rate of interest will rise, किस हद तक inflation थोड़ा काबू में आएगा, economic cycle will pick up or not. But so it will discount all these things and then it might start to give us a recovery. इसका मतलब ये है that if you are a long-term investor, you should not hurry. And अगर आपको ढंग का stocks मिलता है, if you find an Infosys, if you find a TCS, if you find a Reliance Industries, जो भी आपको companies you want to have in your portfolio or you have in your portfolio, और वो सब stocks आपको 20+% नीचे मिल रहा है from its all-time highs, आप एक 1/3 rule use करके चल सकते हैं. That अभी मैं कुछ 25-30% खरीदता हूँ और नीचे के भाव में और लगा के, because this kind of markets can extend further down. We are tonight talking at a point where the market is, the index has closed almost near the lowest point of the week. So समझ के चलिए कि यहाँ से और 4-5-6% the market can come down. The market can take its time to bottom out. So as an investor, you can start to approach in a staggered manner. By staggered manner, I'm trying to tell you that buy in parts. There's no need to hurry. This is for an investor. The problem is with the trader. The problem is with the trader because मैं हमेशा ये बोलता हूँ, and I don't know आपने observe कभी किया है या नहीं. Downtrending markets are always far more volatile than uptrending markets. Downtrending markets are far more volatile than uptrending markets. Uptrending markets में आपको ज्यादा उतना volatility नहीं दिखता है जितना कि आपको downtrending markets में आपको volatility. This makes the life of a trader, particularly short-term trader, difficult, relatively difficult in a downtrend in relation to an uptrend. Because in an uptrend, he has the support of the institutions, which are predominantly long only. Trader's life is going to be difficult. It's likely to stay very difficult. आज ही अगर आप Nifty, Bank Nifty का price movement, if you track closely, I closely track and trade the 15-minute time frame. उसके नीचे मैं नहीं जाता हूँ. It was quite difficult. It was not easy. So ये जो not easy माहौल है, ये रहने वाला है. Because we have gone through a phase of sheer opulence, sheer pampering. Now, little bit of law of average. So we have to go through it. So I will suggest, if you are a short-term trader, आपकी जो strategies है उसमें थोड़ा ध्यान दीजिए. In the sense, अगर आप stocks trade करते हो, try to focus on lesser number of stocks. 1, 2, 5 stocks में focus रखिए. कोशिश कीजिए कम सौदा हो. अगर trades ना भी हो तो ठीक है, because when the tide turns, जब माहौल फिर से सुधरेगा, आपको मौका मिल जाएगा. And in my past experience, I've seen that the market, out of 12 months, 9-10 महीना देता है, मतलब at least 7-8 months तो वो देता है कमाने के लिए. Few months you have to wait. It's like hibernation for the trader. This is where the investor in you should be more active than the trader in you. The investor in you should be more active, not in terms of action, but in terms of homework. ढूंढिए, निकालिए, क्या Infosys यहाँ से ले सकते हैं? Which are the stocks that we can look at? So stocks का अगर बात करें, if we talk about stocks, it is important you do a top-down approach. It is important that you decide on the sector, and once you find a decent sector, जो आपको लगे कि हाँ ठीक है, then you go to the stocks. I am talking purely from the point of view of the investor, not the trader. So दो किस्म के सेक्टरल पिकिंग हो सकते हैं. एक मीन टू रिवर्शन जो बहुत टूट चुका है, और दूसरा जो टूटा ही नहीं है, it's showing strength. So one can focus on that sector which is really beaten down and weak, and one can focus on one sector which is not actually weak but actually relatively strong or stronger. क्या आप मुझे दो सेक्टर्स के नाम बोल पाएंगे जो इस सेल ऑफ में सबसे वीक रहा है? Can you tell me the names of two sectors which were particularly very weak in this sell-off? Anyone that who would like to comment on the weak sector, and any one sector which has been particularly strong? Weak में जो मेरे ज़हन में आता है immediately that I can think of is IT, is metals. Strong में that I can think of in terms of the sector first is auto. Now these are different approaches. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको दोनों ही करना है. These are different approaches. Few people like to attempt to buy those stocks, those sectors which are strong, और किसी को जो weak है, जो beaten down है, वो अच्छा लगता है. ये depend करता है style of the trader, style of the investor. It completely depends on that. Now if I bring your attention to my sectoral list, और हम लोग weekly charts पे है, if I click on the IT, यहाँ पे जो मेरे trading view पे आपको ये सब colors दिख रहे हैं ना, these are in terms of the trend जो मैं last week पे किया था. Green means up, red means down, blue means non-directional. काफी सारे blues इस हफ्ते लाल हो जाएंगे because of the fall. IT is down almost 40% YTD. 40% YTD, IT down. Let's take a look at metals. Metals is down relatively much lesser, 14.5% YTD. I'm talking about CNX metal. एक एक करके quickly देख लेते. Real estate, 22%. IT we just saw. PSU bank relatively less, 6%. Private bank, 8%. Bank Nifty, 8%. Bank Nifty is relatively better than Nifty. Nifty YTD, 12%. So यहाँ तक हम लोग whatever stocks and charts we have looked at, एक चीज समझ में आ रहा है, banking have done relatively better than the Nifty. Nifty को IT specially काफी हद तक drag किया है. It has actually dragged quite a lot. चलिए, मीडिया मैं उतना importance नहीं देता हूँ. 17% down. Consumption 9.5%, more or less in line with Nifty. Healthcare 18.5%. Pharma का डेटा ज्यादा है निफ्टी इंडाइसेस में, 17%. Pharma, real estate more or less in line. FMCG 3.5%. So FMCG And यहाँ पे फिर से मैं I've not checked auto yet. कहाँ गया auto? Where are you? Auto. Flat, not even 1%. So FMCG, auto, relatively strong. Oil and gas, energy, इसमें Reliance का एक role play होता है. That is also YTD, not much. You can take a look at energy. CNX energy का data ज़्यादा मिलेगा आपको. YTD it's actually up 6.7%. Reliance plays a very, very important, very big role here. So now you understand जो हम लोग ने दो pocket draw किए थे, weak stocks and strong stocks. Stocks, sectors which are strong, auto, energy, FMCG. Clearly, those which are weak, IT, stands out clearly. There's no second thoughts about it. Pharma, real estate, 17.5%. And metals. Banks have done better. So banks को मैं यहाँ पे भी रखना चाहूँगा. I would like to keep banks here. Now you decide, do you want to do a reversion to mean play? आपको CNX IT, which has fallen almost more than 30%, is now dealing with its 2021 congestion. This was the 2021 congestion. Very clearly, sooner or later, ये यहीं पे आसपास कहीं पे bottom बना के एक short term reversion to mean जो trade होता है, it reverts back to the mean. We call it reversion to mean. It's going to happen in reversion. Good for short term traders if they can time it. If they can time it. और अगर आपको stocks time नहीं करना है, go for the IT ETF. Go for the some kind of an IT fund if you want to. Not a bad idea. It will play out much better. But यहाँ से a long-term investor should, there's no second thoughts, should definitely pay some attention to IT. Definitely IT should be under consideration from this point onwards. There's no second thoughts about it. IT is looking really good. Good from a contrarian point of view, not from the technical or trend point of view. Don't misunderstand me. So opportunities, I think, from a contrarian investor, you will get. Trader, I think, you should wait out a little bit. Ab short-term levels ke thode baat kar lenge. Let's talk about a little bit about short-term levels before I lose, time. Now, Nifty, this was the big breakdown yesterday. This is what happened today. What happened today, us pe thoda dhyan dete. Let me bring you focus to the 15-minute chart. This is the 15-minute chart of Nifty. And it opened weak, gave a big bounce back intraday. Throughout the day stayed in a range, and towards the end, around 60 minutes, very high volatility. ध्यान से देखिए, I don't know if you trade markets this closely. Breakout, breakdown, breakout, breakdown, and some kind of a consolidation. Very difficult. Similar kind of a price behavior you'll notice in Bank Nifty. Opens weak, gives a big bounce back, impresses. हाँ ये bounce back देगा. कुछ नहीं होता है उसके बाद. Nothing. Then it breaks down, ulta breakout, and then consolidates. Again, very difficult. I don't know how many of you actually trade the 15-minute time frame or are short-term traders listening to me tonight, but it's not easy. From an investing point of view, IT is the weakest. From a long-term investing point of view, you can look at it. Banks, the Bank Nifty, the Bank Bs, they have fallen quite a bit, not as much as the Nifty. We have seen that. So it seems like Bank Nifty हो सकता है 32,000 के जो levels है, where we see here the March 21 levels, is likely to come close to this. But एक चीज समझिए, the main reason which has kind of affected the condition of the market, वो सब reasons के कुछ हद तक सुधरना important है. I'm saying it is important that the crude corrects. Crude is at a really strong trend. It was dealing with close to $125 a couple of days back. Now it's trading at 114. This guy needs to cool off, or else it will pinch. Gold did not play as a good hedge this time. If you take a look at gold, and if you take a look at the weekly chart of gold, what are we looking at? Almost 1.3% YTD. We're looking at 1850 gold in the comics. Our index is down 12% on a high to low basis, 18%, and gold YTD just 1.3%. So अगर आपका सोच ये था that gold will act as a hedge, it does not act as a nice hedge, some kind of quasi hedge, and not even in all corrections. And of course, USD INR are dealing with 78. So the reasons of the fact that our markets are going through this kind of a phase, those are structural reasons. Those are not virus, those are not some geopolitical tension, those are not some political tension. Those are macroeconomic structural reasons. So it will take a little bit of time. So don't be in a hurry. Try to accumulate in stocks and sectors. Within the sectors, the main stocks which you like, let's say for example, within IT, you might look at Infosys and TCS. Within banking, you might like Axis Bank, SBI, HDFC Bank. Within finance, you might like HDFC. You can look at Larsen and Toubro. In fact, अगर आपको उतना दिमाग नहीं लगाना है, you can straight away go with the bouquet. You can straight away buy the Nifty Bs. या फिर Nifty के जो top stocks है, I track them very closely. These are the 15 stocks which make up the Nifty 50. अगर Nifty को bounce back करना है, तो कभी ना कभी तो करेगा ही, of course. These stocks will perform. Few of these stocks will 100% perform. ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता that Nifty will go up and few stocks within this will not go up. It's not possible. So I would say that investors, the opportunity is there, and this opportunity may stay. It may not reverse in a hurry. So कोई जल्दी नहीं है. The index can disappoint us further down. So staggered manner, start adding stocks. If you cannot identify stocks, best go for the ETFs or go for the those sectoral funds or index funds. Traders, focus on few stocks. Maybe index is the best thing that you can do. Prepare yourself to trade less. Prepare yourself to deal with volatility. Volatility deal करना ही पड़ेगा. You cannot hide from the volatility. Trade less. Work on your risk management. खुद को tell yourself कि यहाँ पे मैं कम सौदा लूंगा, रिस्क कम लूंगा. ये सही वक्त नहीं है. This is not the kind of delivery जिसको मैं चौका या छक्का मारूं. But टिके रहना है विकेट पे, मौका मिलेगा. The moment we tend to see some kind of a turnaround. I always share my views, try to share it on a regular basis in my YouTube channel. Feel free to check that. It's in my name, Abhijit Paul. I do share my views on a closing basis. And the moment I see some signs of recovery, I will definitely share with everyone through the social media. Right? But I would strongly finish by saying what I started with, and that is very clearly the nature of the market has changed. The nature of the investor trader in you also needs to change. The nature in which you were trading last year or last to last year, it will not work now, and आपको पता है it's not working. The kind of confidence and conviction जो आपको 2 साल 1.5 साल पहले था, अभी वो conviction confidence में question mark आना चालू हो गया. So psychologically understand this, tell yourself, and this is the time where you save and wait for the right time when you start becoming aggressive and change the gears. Now this is this phase where you reduce the gear, you drive slow, right? Feel free to ask me any questions. You can reach me on my YouTube channel. You can just type my name on YouTube. I do share my views on the market over here. Where is it? Indian financial market analysis. So I do share my thoughts on the market and few shares every day. आप देख सकते हो, आपको कोई भी question हो which I will not be able to take up in this interaction today evening, you can buzz me, you can put in a word here, you can put it on social media, or you can put it on StockEdge social. I am quite active there. In fact, हर एक इंटरैक्शन जो मैं YouTube के साथ शेयर करता हूँ वो मैं StockEdge में भी शेयर करता हूँ, StockEdge social में भी शेयर करता हूँ. So if you're a part of it, feel free to put in a word here, put in your question here, and I will try my best to get back to you. Right? All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for participating in tonight's interaction. I hope this was useful. Do let me know your thoughts. Do let me know if there's anything that you want to hear from me to cover for you particularly. Till then, enjoy the weekend ahead. Take care of yourselves. And as I always say, trade well and trade wise. Thank you. Good night.